Okay, so we determined a name yet?
Yeah. I think we were going with the idea of
Joe Ken.
Joe Ken around. Joe, hi, I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
And we're joking around.
But my name's not King.
Well,
You've
that'd be
been
nice
joking.
though. You could be a king.
A king.
Lincoln's voice is rubbing off on me now.
Is his voice changing?
Yeah. Dakota, just chill out, man.
Is his voice changing now? How old is Lincoln now?
I don't know. 12? Is he 12 yet? I think he's 12.
He's your son, so you should know.
Oh, well, I don't know that I should. I do. I should. You're right. I should.
You should know, but you don't know.
Yes.
Okay, we've got that. Okay.
No,
all right.
He's definitely 12, and his birthday is November 3rd,
November 3rd.
I think.
When is St. Patty's Day? Isn't it in November?
It's the 3rd or the 2nd. Now I'm second guessing.
When is St. Patty's Day? I'm very bad with dates.
Well, not as bad as me, apparently.
Oh my goodness. It's March, not November. Why was I thinking that?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right. Well, so I'm already been recording, so they're going into it. So
Nice.
how would we start it?
Well, of course, we've got, hey, this is Joe. I'm Joe. This is Ken, and welcome to Joking Around. And we let her rip. We should have an opener, I think.
Welcome to Joking Around. There's Joe. I'm Ken, and we're joking around.
Yeah, that's fine. All those are fine. We can
Doesn't matter.
explore that, I think.
Okay,
a little bit
explore it.
as it continues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll try a couple of them, and then this is going to be a lot of work, but that's okay. We'll go find this stuff.
Oh,
Unless you want to just okay, we're started now, and then let's go.
I think
Or this could actually be the first
exactly.
podcast.
That's what I think. I think we've already
started. This
Yes.
is episode number 1,
Yes.
talking about
So I think
starting a podcast. How
Right.
starting a podcast that's doesn't exist yet. Wow.
Exactly. I forgot to offer you a water. Did you want a water or anything? Are you good for a little bit, or?
I'm okay right now.
Okay, just let me know, because I have one
I'm all
in the
comfortable.
fridge. I know, we got
And
these.
I'm all set up. I don't want to move.
I think it's funny that we chose, it's what's available. We chose these lounge chairs, so we're just both kicked back.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
I'm relaxed, and the dog has the third chair over
Yeah,
there.
he
He's
kept-
coming over to you
No, this
because
is my
he's jealous. He's like, you have the better chair.
His name's Dakota, by the way. And
Joe's dog, Dakota.
If you hear a random, very loud bark, that could ruin our podcast entirely, because it will definitely freak out anybody. So just be ready.
We'll have to cut it out
Yeah.
or leave one random one in there.
I say every, what if every episode there was one and you just have to be ready for it? It freaks everybody out.
And that is how we talk during golf. Bark!
Ouch. Yeah, that was loud. Exactly.
Yep.
Watching the grass grow. And then
Boom!
boom.
I'm going to get him started.
Hey, but this is cool. I'm Ken's kind of. I think my brother Ken here is a better host on the audios, if you will, in the audio world. I think he's gonna kill that and rock that, and it'll be fun to play around a little bit. But technically, we are in my studio.
Yes, we are at Joe's studio.
Basically, yes.
Joe has a separate actual studio location
Yes.
that is undisclosed.
Yes.
It's hidden
It's
deep in the forest.
Yeah, I had it
of
nickel.
Endor.
I had it nickel plated. It's about a mile under the surface.
Why did you nickel plate it?
Because then scans can't pick it up. That's what I heard once upon a time.
Really? They probably tell you it so
Or
it's
it's
easier
copper.
to pick up.
Yeah, it's
They're like, make sure you cover your car with all this special reflective tape.
yeah, that was dumb. You know what it
Here,
was?
put this tracker on it too.
I think it was more for X-ray or something. I'm trying to remember what. But
Nickel plated.
one of So, Enemy of the State. You ever remember watching that movie?
Probably, but I don't remember it offhand.
It's been so long, but I'm pretty sure in Enemy of the State, is it Gene Hackman? I think is the.
Okay.
He's one of the main actors in it, and he mentioned something about, don't look up because they'll catch you with the satellite. He's like, make sure you keep your head down while he's meeting with so and so, right? Which I think was Will Smith, if I remember right. But anyway, he also has a building that he's like, no, we're safe in there because, and I can't remember if it was copper plated, but I thought he said nickel plated. In other words, they can't pick up something. I don't know if it was whatever it was. I'll have to look it up.
That's very
I'm
interesting.
gonna look it up right now.
I don't think you should nickel plate your stuff. It's probably quite expensive.
I don't know why we're talking about nickel plating.
Especially, you said it was underground, so I don't know why you would need to nickel plate it underground. But we are not underground. We're just we had an idea about just kind of, because we have these conversations all the time. Any of you grow up with brothers or have siblings that that you're still in contact with, and you still have a good relationship with, and you may have not seen them in like 10 years, and then you just start talking to them. Or maybe it's even a best friend. Maybe it's not even a relative. But you can just have conversations that just connect. Like you're like you didn't even miss a beat. You go right into it again.
Yeah.
So Joe and I have those conversations all the time where we actually live quite close to each other, about 10 minutes away from him.
Yep.
And we started working out together and stuff and seeing more of each other. And we're just having these conversations where we're like, man, these would make really good podcast episodes. And so that's what we're doing. That's the point. That's
And
the point
so here we are.
And then this happened.
Well, I think, we just brought some of our equipment together, kind of hodgepodged it into something to get things rolling. And this is fun. This is good. I think we need to have more conversations like this. It's good.
Yep, it's good. Also, we're taking donations.
Always
So you
donations.
can give us money whenever you want, and we'll happily receive that.
Hey, food, anything. It all works. It all helps.
In all seriousness, we're doing this literally just for fun. Even if we don't even broadcast this and nobody ever hears this, it's still for fun. We're all audio like nerds in our family for the most part.
Yes.
We all enjoy recording one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
We have other siblings that do similar things with audio here and there. And if you haven't noticed, one of the things, one of the ideas I had about us when we were starting this idea was naming the podcast Joe's Brother. Because if you don't know Joe, Joe's a artist that has kind of hit some internet famedom.
No, not famine.
Joe is in famine.
I've been there. Trust me. That was before the art took off.
Yeah, Joe moved down. We're in South Carolina. Joe moved down to South Carolina, doing some stuff, and then like he's always been doing art. We're little kids, and Joe's sitting in church drawing and stuff, and they're actually pretty good. But Joe decided to go full time into art. How long has it been since you?
Oh man,
since you were like, this is now my full time job.
Yeah, so it happened a couple times because I, moved back into part-time a couple times, but officially the first time I did it was back in like 2011, I think.
2011. Wow, so it's like 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's about 10 years now. There were a few drawings, so I started doing this.
There'll probably be 10 years in like the fall, right? Because didn't you do it in the fall?
No. So those are two different things. So that's when things kind of blew up and went viral, and then I actually was making it as a full-time artist, which I define differently.
I was talking about when you quit your job and went to art, started doing art.
So that's happened a couple times, is what I'm trying to say. I actually quit my job and went into full-time art in 2000 and, I think it was 2011. That was the first time. And it worked okay for a little bit. I got some pretty big-sized commissions that really went well. And then I got cheated out of some money. I learned some business things really fast.
Yeah.
Like, get it in writing, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so a guy owed me about $8,000. And when you're first starting off and you needed that $8,000, it
I
kind of
could
hurt.
use $8,000 right now. I mean, I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well, that was the first wave, and then kind of, came off of that.
sure.
Yeah. And then I did it again to part-time, started the other studio over at the Taylor's Mill.
Right.
And then 2016, October of 2016, that's when the big one happened.
That's when you did a live event.
Yes.
So Joe's known for being the singing painting artist. So we're just doing audio right now. Maybe you'll do video later or something like that. But if you look for Joe Everson on YouTube or go to joeeverson.com, you'll see what we're talking about. Joe sings and paints and does that as an event, as a live performance, which people can say, hey, come do this for our event or whatever. He's done NBA Finals, NFL games, NHL, baseball, all kinds of like events. Now, what happened when COVID came? What happened there?
Oh man, nothing. I mean, everything happened. Everything stopped.
That's not the only thing Joe does. In fact, like between 2011 and 2016, you weren't doing events per se.
Right. I was doing art shows, and my favorite thing was the cons, like the Comic Cons.
Yeah.
So, and I found a community there that really, really pushed me. And to be honest, I'm a lightweight when it comes to actual comics. I've always been very much into superheroes, though, and especially grew up, of course, on the classic Superman. Right?
Yeah, we'll talk all about that.
That's fine.
That'll probably be the entirety of the show.
Well,
talking about our childhood.
We don't have to
and superheroes.
We don't have to explore that fully, but if we're telling the story, that was very integral in me falling in love with art again, basically, and feeling like there was a community that supported me in some of that fun. So, but anyway, yeah, you're right, 100%. It was like art shows and other things like that was what I was using to get my name out and talk to people, get commissions, sell prints.
That was really special time. I know there's probably a lot more pressure on you than I knew at the time because you were supporting a family. I didn't have any kids yet. At the time, we had our first 2 years ago. She's 2 years old, and my wife's expecting second. Is due in September, like end of August area. We're in 2021, so whenever you're listening to this, or if you're not listening to this, I don't know. But but back then, like it was just me and my wife, and Comic-Con, the very first South Carolina Comic-Con came to our town, to Greenville, South Carolina, and Joe and I are both down here, and Joe's like, I'm gonna be an artist, like vendor at the Comic-Con, which is awesome because I'm a huge comic book fan. I actually buy and collect comics, and I've got a collection that's way too big and I spent way too much money on, and one of those guys. So I don't claim to be a professional comic book knowledge guys, but I did spend a lot of money and a lot of time into that. So then I was like, oh, that's so cool. Joe's going to be one of the artist guys out there. And I think the very first special guest there, or actually both of them were there at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were both there.
Was the first guy Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno was there.
The very first Comic-Con down here?
Well, so, I mean, some people might, if they're listening to it, they might be a little bit confused. There was... South Carolina Comic-Con did come earlier, but there was like a couple year gap in there or something.
Oh, okay.
And I think someone else took over the hosting and like making the connections.
Yeah, I think it's Borderlands Comics and Games.
Oh, I love those guys. Yeah, they're
Robert,
awesome.
Robert's the owner of that
Shout
store.
out to all the guys out
he's
there.
Awesome.
Yep.
I don't see him enough.
I know, yeah. They've actually, they've collected pieces of mine, and they're always extremely awesome when I get to work with them.
They do very well, and the thing I've loved over all the years of the Comic-Con is how family friendly it is.
Yep.
People, there's different kind of styles to Comic-Cons. There's more fantasy or more anime, and people like whatever they like. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that this one is like just a really good general.
It's an overall
pop culture even stuff too. You don't have to be a crazy comic book
like
nerd.
only in one area.
Yeah, and then people are like, I don't care about all this stuff. I just want to, get a
Yeah.
sword or something. Or
No, that is a
see
lot
the
of fun with it.
cosplay. I want to go see Star Wars stuff.
Yep. And I well recognize the fact that there are those who are pretty hardcore Comic Con people who literally go and don't, all that's frivolous to them. But
but it has that too. Like,
yes,
this last one we went to was very well, but I felt like it was like half the size because it was before the COVID stuff was actually the actual mask was lifted here,
right?
But or maybe it was. I mean, it
was in that transition. Yeah, and a lot of people were still uncomfortable.
They
with
decided to do it, which was cool. So
yeah.
But anyways, back to that first.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. That's what we were on.
Lou Ferrigno was the very first one that maybe when they rebooted or something and stuff too.
Yep.
And that's, if you want to talk about a childhood hero, that's probably one of our dad's favorite.
Yep. He was so
TV
into
show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the fact dad's into to weightlifting and strength training. Dad's he's been a teacher his entire life, music professor, but also he's a kind of a weight training nerd. He loves reading so much to that. He always had a weight thing in the basement.
Yeah,
every house we were
I
always
love
in.
that. Do you remember really quick? I know you're going somewhere with that. I gotta interrupt you. The torn sweatshirt that was hanging up there.
Yeah.
So he was a part of the Michigan State weightlifting club.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
We grew up in Michigan.
Right, right. So that's the connection. And that's where he got to, explore a lot of those aspects of his, desires to weight train and everything.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just always remember that being over the window.
That was the scariest room. In the basement,
in the back corner of everything.
So it was go down the basement, and the basement was set up to where if you're going down, to the left was where the main basement was, and to the right, like up maybe a couple feet, and to the right was like where the furnace and stuff was, and the laundry. To the right, and then if you were to go through that little doorway on the right, and then take a left just behind that wall. It was like a secret.
Yeah, it was like a hidden room.
That go all the way down to the left, and then there was this tiny little room in there.
Yep.
That who knows why that was built, but that's where Dad put his weight stuff.
Yep.
He had barbells, dumbbells, even had like a pull-up bar that nobody ever used ever. I don't even know why I was in there. Maybe it was in there when he bought the house, or maybe he used it at some point. I don't know. That's the house I grew up in.
That's a big deal. If I ever saw Dad do like pull-ups, I think that would blow my mind a little bit. And he's extremely strong. I mean, he's a strong.
He's a quiet, meek guy, but he always impressed me with his strength.
Yep.
At weird random times, like. I think one Sunday.
Oh man, this is gonna become the dad episode.
One Sunday after church, I was laying down, like I don't know, I was probably a junior high or maybe even older than that or something. We were just kind of lounging in the afternoon or something, watching a movie or something, and Dad's like, "Time to get up" or whatever, and I'm laying down next to the recliner on his right hand side, and I was like, I don't want to, and he's like, come on, and he grabbed me, and I'm holding on to his arm, and he lifted me up with one arm. Like he was just kind of like,
how old were you think?
I don't know. Like it was definitely when we were in Wisconsin, so I would have been older. I would have been like 6th grade or older. So Dad, holding pick me up, not that much. Not like he lifted me up.
How heavy's like a 6th grader? Would you
I don't know. I was a portly child too, but it was just enough where I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't. There was nothing touching the ground, and he's like, get up. I was like, yes, sir.
Dude, there's a jumping spider. I'm not lying to you. There's a jumping spider on this table.
Oh,
and I watched it, and he just walks a little bit, and then he goes boink, and he jumps about.
Those things are incredibly intelligent. You know that they actually have personalities.
Oh, he's coming my way. Oh my goodness, this is scaring me a little bit. Where'd he go?
Yeah, he's probably wanting to intimidate you or play with you.
Oh.
Like they remind me of bodybuilders. They're the bodybuilders of the spiders. They're extremely fast, and they look like they're all like
they do. They kind of look like a pit bull kind of version.
Exactly.
Of a spider.
A friend at work was telling me all about jumping spiders and stuff, and I was like,
I don't know if it's a legit like dangerous. There's like an African jumping spider that like takes its prey out or something.
No,
It's like
no,
it like kills
these are
birds.
the little cute ones. You ever
Like,
seen that?
it jumps after pigs and it just like it likes pig blood or something like that.
No, it's not that.
Oh, it's not that. Okay.
No, I saw them though. They're so fast. That's pretty cool. We're really kind of rabbit trailing here, but
Dad, we were talking.
Lou
Dad.
Ferrigno. We're talking about bodybuilding and weight training, or Lou Ferrigno. Well, Lou Ferrigno was one of Dad's, heroes.
Yeah,
Looked up to him. His Lou Ferrigno story is really incredible. But just kind of an average guy that just,
Oh man, are you kidding me? The guy. So I remember Dad talking about how well he did pushing through and creating. Like, put it this way. To today, he is probably one of the healthiest versions of a weight trainer that I've ever seen from that era. Put it that way, from that era.
Sure, yeah. Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know a couple others, obviously, that we could talk about another time. But I've seen, a lot of different weightlifters. You see them come and go and do their thing and maybe transition into a new lifestyle or whatever. But he has...
Or the ones that didn't do it right and destroyed their body.
Sure.
And you see them...
They push too hard in one area or use something to the extent of like kind of breaking down. Lou Ferrigno, he's still pumping out his health. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but Dad was telling me about it.
It's Ferrigno Fit.
Ferrigno Fit, that's what it is. Yep.
I follow him on Facebook because I love the guy. Lou Ferrigno is probably the last person to ever play a live action Hulk.
Yeah.
Like an actual Hulk. It's always going to be CGI now. Now those CGI creations are really cool.
Yeah, we're not saying, I wouldn't say like it's
probably more realistic to the comics and stuff like that, especially some of the, the later ones. You're getting into like unhumanly
just
size proportions.
Muscles on muscles. Yep.
But I mean, Lou Ferrigno is probably one of the biggest, tallest bodybuilders. And he did his comeback in like when his 40s and stuff.
He straight up is
he
the
still
Hulk.
is. Yeah. He is currently he was born in 1951, so he's 69 years old. He's 1 year younger than Dad. Dad's 70.
Yes. Okay, so I could be wrong, but I think Arnold, for instance, is also 70 or 71.
Who's this Arnold guy you're talking about? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Arnold.
The Terminator.
He has to be brought up if you bring up Lou Ferrigno. It's just part of it.
Well, and he is considered the greatest. You know, Arnold's considered the greatest Olympian,
maybe.
What
not Olympian.
World bodybuilding master champion.
Mr. Olympia.
What? Olympia, not Olympic.
Yes.
Olympia. Mr. Olympia, like so many times.
Yeah.
And if you've ever watched the documentary Pumping Iron, that's like his last one that he did. It talks about all that stuff. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man.
But Lou Ferrigno was there at Comic-Con all those years when we first did that.
Remember him sitting in that folding chair?
Yeah.
Like it disappeared.
I was actually scared.
Like he was
you could
floating.
pay money. You could pay money to meet him and get a signature and all this stuff. I was literally too scared to do it.
Yep.
The only way that I met him was when he was actually leaving. It was 2-day con, I think.
Yeah.
On the last day, he was still there. Maybe it was the first day he was leaving. Whatever. He was getting ready to leave, to be gone.
Yep.
And he was standing up, and I kind of walked over. I was like, I got to at least say hi and shake his hand or something. My wife was with me. And I said, he's like, and the little staff guy's coming. He's like, hey, can I help you? He's like, I just wanted to say hey and shake his hand. I don't want to picture anything,
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, you can talk to him. Like yeah, it's fine, And I go up and he's standing up.
Oh my goodness.
Because he was sitting down and then he's standing up and I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's huge. And he shook my hand and he said, hey, how you doing? I said, I couldn't say anything. And then my wife was with me. I said, this is my wife, Ruth Ann. And he said, hi, how are you, sweetheart? How are you, sweetheart?
Yeah.
He's actually mostly deaf.
Yep.
And recently I saw a video. He got a cochlear implant.
No
and
way.
made him cry because he never heard like that in his entire life.
No way.
Recently, yeah. Very, very cool. Different subject.
Okay.
And he winked at her, and I was like, well,
yeah, no, I remember.
I gotta find
watched
another
that.
wife.
I gotta find.
I mean, I can't do anything, you know. If he I can't fight
He's
this
like,
guy.
you're coming with me. Picks her up. You're like punching at him, and he's like,
trying
I
to
don't,
bite his leg.
I don't feel anything. Yeah,
But big guy, and I can only imagine meeting him in person
oh
with
man,
you know, when he was over 300 pounds.
yeah,
You know, I mean, just absolutely crazy. But
that was cool. Seeing
you
him,
actually did a painting of him.
yes,
That he signed.
yeah. So this is like before any of the fandom, as you called it, or any of that.
This is like
yeah,
that's like a big thing in my mind that I remember.
yeah. It was
of,
so.
like,
It was such a big accomplishment.
Joe got it signed by Lou Ferrigno.
Yep.
I'm gonna steal it. I was that guy that defrauded him at $8,000. It took it all.
Wait a minute.
All the signed stuff.
I've been wondering where that is.
But that kind of started in my mind. I think it was like I was like, man, this is really cool.
Yeah, just like I'd explained before, where I found
Because there's
this
multiple
kinda-
levels. There's
Exactly,
multiple levels.
There's this community of people that were all on a very similar page with getting to have this culture of bringing in pop culture, but also like stuff from the past, pop culture.
Yeah, nostalgia is like
exactly. Oh
level
man, are you?
50 billion? You know,
It's only going up, man. It just
Yep.
keeps going up. I mean, all the way down to the shoes people used to wear. You know, I love photography, so I'm shooting like film's back in style. It's back in vogue. You're talking movies or series like Stranger Things that are just bringing up everything.
Yeah,
Star
it's-
Wars,
yeah.
everything.
Everybody's really the 80s, 90s people right now.
Yep.
Probably more 90s than 80s at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But 90s is seen to be becoming more popular again, but like probably 'cause I'm just getting older.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we're just recognizing the
I'm
cycle.
in my 30s now, so you know, it's like that retrospective look, you know, and everything's always better in the past, you know. That's always is. And it's always greener than where you came from. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But no, that was an awesome time. Comic-Cons and stuff. Still try to go whenever we can. I mean, it comes around yearly, so
Well, I like this conversation for our starting podcast because I think it's starting to lay a ground base. We talked a little bit about Dad. We talked about Superheroes of Touch. We talked about Comic-Con and all of that, because that is a lot of our upbringing, a lot of our content of what we like to talk about as brothers.
yeah.
you
And
know?
you'll probably hear us talk about the same thing over and 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 over again.
Now we'll mix it up. But you're right. We'll just repackage it.
Yep. So that's probably it for this first one. We thank you guys for listening. You're probably very confused about like what this is about, and so are we. And so we'll leave you confused until the next one to be more confused.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bye.